Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Marielle, imperfectly, back with another video. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that took the time to like, comment, subscribe. I think we're up to 512 subs. Now I know 512 doesn't seem like a whole lot to you guys, but I am celebrating each and every one of my small victories. So 512 is huge for me, so thank you. I didn't know how I was going to be received on here, if 50 of y'all was going to like me, if 25 of y'all was going to like me, but thank you so much, each and every one of y'all. Keep following along this journey. I don't know where God is going to take me, but I just feel like there's more to come. This week, we're going to talk about a topic that is not so glamorous, it's not so funny, it's not so, well, we're going to talk about a topic that is not very funny, not very glamorized, and that is the thin line between child abuse and discipline when it comes to the Haitian community. And I say the Haitian community only because that's the community I'm part of. I feel like we're not the only one that have that threshold, and so I just want to share some of my personal experiences. I'm not very proud of some of these stories. I am actually still very haunted and traumatized by some of these stories. And these may be kind of triggering for some of you guys. I'm sure I'm not the only person that has dealt with these, but I just wanted to share. I want to be completely transparent on my journey here on this channel. I want to be completely relatable, and I know while many of you guys may not have had a similar upbringing as I did, but I'm sure at least one person can relate to some of my stories. And so here goes nothing. This story is, well, it's not a story time, it's just a part of my life. And so before my mother died, I didn't really have any abuse situations. I don't feel like I was abused. My mother was a very mild-mannered person. My mother never yelled. I don't remember her ever screaming at me. My mom attempted to spank me one time, and that was because she had a pantie, China, and everybody knows that China's forbidden. And I was never supposed to go to the China, and I went to the China. Not only did I go to the China because she had a bottle of honey, which, oh my God, story time within a story time. I hate honey till this day because I went to my mom's panche and I drank an entire bottle of honey because I love sugar. And now just seeing the consistency of honey makes my head spin. I hate honey till this day because it was so sweet. I got sick, I got ill. I drank an entire bottle of honey. That's not what we're here to talk about. Stay focused. Anyway, and on my quest to drink this bottle of honey, I knocked down 2 plates and I broke 2 of my mom's plates. My mother was not a happy camper. When she came home, she found out. I don't even think I cleaned it up because I think I was like 7. And so I left it there. She saw it. She was angry. She was like, what happened? I was like, I drank the honey, so I'm all sick. My stomach is hurting. I got the ill belly ache and her plates are broken. She's just like, what in the world? And so I was supposed to get a spanking. She called me over. She said, come here, I'm gonna spank you. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not coming to you. I'm not coming to you to get a spanking. And so we have a 1-bedroom apartment. And when I say 1 bedroom, I mean 1 room where I think a curtain separated the bed, and then like the bathroom probably was outside, and there was a little table where we ate. That was our apartment, but we were so grateful for it. I remember her being on one side of the table and me being on the other side. And she kept telling me, come here. And I was like, absolutely not. And so she had a bottle of grease. It was a bottle like Blue Magic or something green. And she tossed it at me. And I ducked it. And I remember my mom trying to run around this table trying to catch me. And I gave her one of those. So she got so angry. And we ended up both getting too tired and we went to bed. That was the only time my mom attempted to spank me. She would give me stern talking tos, but at 7, 8, 9 years old, they would be like, don't do this, don't do that. But it was never any situation where I needed to be spanked. Now, when my mother died, remember I told you guys that she left me with a family member, or who I thought was a family member. And this guy was very strict. He had 3 children of his own, but he was very militant. I just remember him being very strict. I think he was a cop of some sort. I don't remember. I just remember anytime something wasn't done, not just but his children also would get punished. So we would get put on our knees. I don't know if you guys know about the on your knees punishment. In Haiti, it's a form of timeout. So where you would put a child to stand in a corner facing the wall, they would put us on our knees facing the wall. And I've heard of people, so in Haiti, we use sea salt, and I don't know if you've ever seen the consistency of sea salt. It's like rocky, very rugged, very... I've heard of people to put sea salt on the ground and put the child on sea salt. Now, let me tell y'all something. When you think of some of the things, iguaz, sea salt, and some of the punishment that we've endured as Haitians, I think every Haitian parent should do some jail time. I mean, honestly, but I digress. I just don't remember ever experiencing the sea salt thing, but I did have to go on my knees for extended period of time, and then if you were gonna get a spanking or whatever it was, and until my aunt came to my rescue, the love of my life came to my rescue, and then subsequently my grandma came to my rescue and got me to the States. Now, once I got to the States, it was a different ball game. I'm like, I'm in America now, whatever that meant. And I just remember I slept in a bed with my grandma because there wasn't enough room for me to have my own room. So I slept in a bed with my grandma. And I remember one day, shortly after I came to America, maybe not even a week, I remember my grandma waking up to my grandmother's voice, and she was going on and on and on, saying some really harsh words. And there was a family friend sitting at the end of the bed. When I woke up, she was rubbing on my leg, and when I woke up, she kind of just like, girl, just it's okay. And so now I'm up, but I'm listening, and I just remember Jenny Jones or somebody was on the TV. She's going off, and the lady's rubbing on my foot, on my leg, and she's going off about somebody not being worth it. I don't know if I made a mistake. You're not even worth this, and you're not even doing that. And I was just like, and it dawned on me that she was talking about me, and I was just like, oh. And so she was going off about something I didn't do. Now, this particular thing, I'm gonna choose not to share because it's so stupid, but apparently, I was supposed to wake up before her to do this task, but which wouldn't have been no issue had I been told that I was expected to do this task. If they sat me down and was like, listen, you're here now, these are the tasks, these are the set of rules that you should live by, these are the things that we're expecting you to do, I would have followed suit. I was never told to do this thing, and so she's going off because I should have known. How? I don't know. I never lived with my grandmother before. And so she went on and on and on, and then she got on the phone, called one of my uncles, who then asked her to put me on the phone. I was told to then get on my knees, and I'm like, oh, this again, I'm on my knees again. And so I was to be on my knees until he came, because he was living in his own home. He was supposed to come and handle me. And so when he came, which was hours later, I must have spent 2 to 3 hours on my knees. He came, spanked me with a belt. It was, you know, the spanking wasn't bad. I got spanked with a belt. It was the verbal lashings that stung. I knew it. I knew you weren't gonna be, you know, worth a damn. I knew, you know, your mother was from this. I was just like the things that were said were very harsh. And so that was one of many. That was the first of many. I remembered if I didn't do the chores properly, if I didn't wash the dishes properly, if I didn't clean the bathroom properly, these things were happening. Now, my cousins lived in the home with their mom. My fate was different than theirs. They had their mom to handle them. I didn't have my mom to handle me, and so uncles would come in and take turns, so to speak. So that was living in my grandmother's house from maybe 12 to about 15 to 16. Now, once I got to about 15, maybe 16, I'm in high school, maybe 10th grade, I had the option, I don't even remember how that opportunity came about, to move in with another family member. And now this family member, I should have known better, but and the reason I should have known better was because a family member from Haiti came to visit, and I was the only person available to take her around to go visit the different family members, because all my family kind of lived within walking distance of my grandmother. And so this family member, maybe like a second aunt, asked me to take her to Uncle such and such and Uncle such and such. And I volunteered. I went and I walked with her up the street, took her to the uncle's house. And once I got there, we rang the doorbell. They greeted each other, hadn't seen each other in years. It was very nice. It was very nice. It was warm, welcoming, whatever. Once he got to me, because remember, I don't live there, so I greeted him as well. And we all sat on the couch. He's asking her about Uncle this and Auntie that and all the neighbors from Haiti. So he got to me and asked, how's school? Now, he asked this in Creole. The reason why that's important is because I had just gotten to America maybe 3 to 4 years before. My English was still under construction. So I was still taking maybe English as a second language, and I was practicing my English any chance I got. So I had my cousins, I had Britney Spears, I had like music videos, I had Ricky Lake, I had all the TV shows to teach me. I remember watching stories, trying to learn English. Any chance I got to speak English, anytime somebody spoke English, my grandmother never spoke English. Anytime someone spoke English, I would answer them in English just to perfect my English and practice. And I just remember him asking, "Comment l'école?" And I was like, "Oh, it's fine, thank you." And he paused and looked at me and gave me this look like, and I'm like, "It's fine. I said that grammatically correct, right? Fine, F-I-N-E. I got that right?" And I just remember him getting up and punching me dead in my face. Bam! So Auntie such and such was like, she screamed. It was like, "Why?" And I got up and ran to the bathroom. So my nose is leaking. I run to the bathroom. And Auntie such and such comes and she's washing my hair. You know, so the bleeding could stop. And I just remember him like mumbling something in the living room, I guess to his defense. And so once I got a towel and I was getting myself together trying to stop the bleeding, Auntie such and such went to the living room and I heard him saying, "Oh, wapala timuna Creole la venir con mon anglais." So basically I had gotten punched in my face because he asked me something in Creole and I responded to him in English. That was my first time ever getting hit by him. And I still followed through and went and moved in with him because his home was nicer. I would have had my own room and the room had a TV in it. TV, remember that for later on in the story. And yeah, so I moved in with him maybe like a few months later. His wife was set to have another baby. They could use the help. They had already had like a 5-year-old. They was gonna have another baby, and I was to go over there and just basically, you know, help you situation. I get there, everything is cool. I have my own room. These people go out to dinners, like at my grandmother's house. L'église, l'école, la caille. We wasn't going nowhere. L'église, l'école, la caille. So it was one of those situations. So once I got to Uncle such and such, we were going out to dinners. We ate fast food. Like my grandma didn't believe in fast food. And so it was cool. It was cool. They had cable. Y'all. So I was watching all the things. They had like extended cable. I remember watching like Set It Off, which became my favorite movie, My Best Friend's Wedding. I watched all those movies over there at Uncle such and such because he had like extended cable. Anyway, stay focused. Uncle such and such had a little bit of an anger problem. He would talk very stern, but not only just talk very stern. Whenever he was angry, he would hit things. He would hit people, and people. Me. My first time ever getting hit, besides the whole I spoke English to him, was he came in my room one evening and he had told me, "Before you go to bed, turn the TV off." And my grandmother, till this day, if I want to fall asleep, I'm gonna put on YouTube, Pandora, something to I need something running for me to fall asleep. Till this day, I don't know if I'm scared of the dark, I don't know what it is. My grandmother taught me that. When I got to his home, I would leave something running. And so he would tell me, he had told me time and time again, "Marielle, turn the TV off." And I would try, but I couldn't fall asleep. If I turned the TV off, I would toss and turn. I couldn't go to sleep, and I had to get up to go to school in the morning. And so I would leave the TV on and be fighting. Like when my eyelids got really heavy, then I would jump up and turn it off and hope to go. This particular night, I felt miserably. I left the TV on. He gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. The TV's on. He opens the door. And now, I believe this is my very first encounter with either the Holy Spirit or God himself. I was sleeping, I think it was like a queen size. It was a rather nice sized bed. I was sleeping on the very like closest side where the TV was. So the bed was here. There was a nightstand, like a dresser right there where the TV sat. And I slept closer to the TV because I wanted to jump up and get up and turn it off. For whatever reason, this particular night, I was sleeping in front of the TV. When the door swung open, I did this complete body roll where I just completely turned my entire body versus just turning my head to see why the door flung open. I turned my entire body, and that was met with him slapping the TV, which landed on the bed where my 2 twig ass legs would have been, because at this point I'm 17 years old. I'm 102 soaking wet, maybe 98 pounds. My legs would have snapped in two. If that big behind TV would have fell on my legs, it would have broke both of my legs. For whatever reason, I got the urge to roll my entire body over. The TV fell on the bed, and then he proceeded to wake me up with punches. Cool. I told you to turn the TV off. No problem. I deserved that one because he did tell me. Okay. Other mornings, if he would come in there, he'd either the light go on. Like, my body became like an alarm clock to when he would get up, because he worked in a specific industry where we had to get up super early. So whenever he got up, he'd beeline to my room to see what was wrong. If I had a shirt out of place, if I had a towel out of place, I was getting my ass beat. And so my body would just wake me up, like, make sure everything is in place, because you get tired of getting woken up with punches. And so second time I got another spanking, or I call it a spanking, but they were beatings, was dinner. My aunt made dinner. She called us to come eat, and I used to draw. I used to love drawing. I drew all the Lion King characters like with my eyes closed. I love drawing Nala and Simba and all of them. And my favorite character to draw was Rafiki. Go figure. I would have this notebook where I would draw, and so this particular time I'm drawing, and my aunt called us for dinner, and I remember just stalling, drawing every hair just to take time. I literally was taking time. And so my uncle called me again, and I was like, oh God, I did not want to sit across the table with him. I didn't. And so I got up and I moseyed to the to the kitchen. And when I got there, I noticed that everybody had a drink in front of them. And I went in the fridge and I got the little bit of Coke that was left. I love Coke because my aunt loved Coke. She always had 2-liter Coke. And so I got the Coke and I was like, let me pour what was left of it, which was the last of it. So I'm like, great, I gotta go put this in the recycling bin. Buying more time. And so I walked out to the garage, put in the recycling bin. So I walked to the garage, I put the bottle in the recycling bin, and I remember seeing some kids riding their bikes and just running around. So I just kind of took the time again, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was buying time. I wanted that man to eat his food, get up off the table, and then I was gonna come join my aunt. I had no problem eating with my aunt. It was him. I didn't want to sit across from him at the table. And so I'm standing at the gate. I remember standing at the gate, watching the kids ride their bikes. And I just remember feeling somebody grab. I had a little bang. I would wear my hair in a little ponytail, half up, half down. Mind you, my hair went but so long. But I had a little bang where I put a little, you remember the sponge roller? I'll put that little sponge roller right there, a little side bang, little child. My uncle grabbed that little bang and dragged me all the way back inside the house. And I just remember feeling my hair being plucked out of my scalp. And he dragged me all the way back inside the house. I'm screaming, and he's just so angry. He's so mad. And we get into the kitchen, and he's going to town. At some point, he lets me go. I stand across from him. So my aunt had made spaghetti, and she made like Publix served like this French baguette bread, where she would take that and make like homemade garlic bread. And she had this bread knife. You know the knife that it has the wide teeth to cut like French baguette bread? I remember grabbing one of the knives and I handed it to him. I was like, just end it. Just kill me. Like this, just do it. Don't tempt me, he says. Don't tempt me. And he went on and said some more stuff. I just remembered at this point, I was getting tired. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was getting tired. So of course his wife is always like, why, stop. But he was the king of his castle for him, and he never stopped. Last story was, my aunt had told me, look, you're 17 now, you're a junior, we know you have a boyfriend, like invite him over, like we don't care. Like she was American, so she was more like, invite him over. You know, let's meet him. We want to know who your friends are. And so I invite my boyfriend over. I was dating this little country boy. He played football. I was a little water girl. You know, we had a little thing going on. And so I invited him over. It was around a time where My uncle wasn't home from work yet, but he was soon to come home. And so it wasn't nothing where we were hiding behind his back. He was gonna come home, we were all gonna be there, he was gonna meet him. I think maybe he had met him before. And so we were all just sitting in the living room. My aunt was sitting at the computer desk with my now baby boy cousin, my heart, baby girl cousin who's about 5, my other heart, me on the floor, my boyfriend on a chair. And we're just all sitting, we're talking about colleges. I think my boyfriend at the time was supposed to go to the same college that my aunt has gone to. They're talking about that. And so I'm just sitting there, just, we're talking. The garage door opens and we're like, oh, daddy's home. My little girl cousin, as soon as the door opens, she's like, hi, daddy. She jumps into his arms. So he embraces her, he kisses her, and he says hello. The entire time he's walking through, he's now kissing his wife. He picks up the baby, kisses the baby. He's kissing his wife the entire time since the door flung open. Hi, Uncle such and such. Hi, Uncle such and such. Hi, Uncle such and such. Remember, I'm sitting all the way on the floor. So I'm like, hi, Uncle such and such. Getting ready to get myself up because I know what's expected of me. Hi, Uncle such and such. And my voice is escalating louder and louder. He walks around, he grabs baby girl, grabs baby boy, kisses wife, walks over, skips me, daps up my boyfriend. What's up, man? How you doing? Everything good? And then finally he comes back to me. And so now I'm halfway up. I'm like, hi, Uncle such and such. And I'm met with whomp. And I'm back on the ground. So automatically, nose go to leaking. At this point, it became a regular thing. My boyfriend jumps up. He's like, well, man, what the hell? And then my aunt's like, oh, Uncle such and such, why? Baby boy starts crying. I think baby girl runs off. She's traumatized. I'm embarrassed beyond. So I run to the bathroom. I know the routine. Run water over my head until the bleeding stops. I truly don't know what I did this time. What did I do this time? And so my boyfriend follows me. He's trying to help me, stop the bleeding. The bathtub is all red. I just remember it was like a murder scene. And so he runs off to his room. His wife follows him. I guess at this point he's explaining to his wife why he was upset. I'm on the other side of the house with my boyfriend, and then we go out to the garage, like in front of the garage. You open the garage, you sit in front of the garage, and my boyfriend's like, I don't think so. I'm gonna ask my mama, can you live with my aunt? Because this is ridiculous. You told me he was crazy, but this is ridiculous. So my boyfriend's going off, and I remember my aunt coming out, and she's like, hey, he wants to talk to you. So I'm like, I know he damn sure do want to talk to me. So I gather myself up to go hear why, like the apology for why I just got punched in my face. And then my auntie was like, no, not you, him. So then my boyfriend's like, so he gets up, he goes inside the house, and I'm left sitting out there with a bruised ego and a bruised nose. And they're in there for what seemed like an eternity. Finally, he comes back out. He's like, yeah, apparently per your culture, because I'm not Haitian, so he was American. He's like, I'm not Haitian, I don't know about this, but he said that when an adult walks in a room, you're supposed to kiss him on the cheek, and you didn't get up to kiss him on the cheek. And so my boyfriend ain't buying it. He was like, this is BS. I think it's kind of perverted. What you mean, kissing on the cheek? Da, 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 da. So I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't get up fast enough. But I was getting up. I literally was met halfway through. Like, I helped him. He didn't even have to punch down because I was halfway up when the punch connected. I didn't get up fast enough. Copy. That all didn't do it. That didn't do it. What did it, you ask? The last punch that did it. And this punch wasn't physical at all. This punch was, at this point, I was a senior, so it was homecoming. I was a water girl because I wanted to go into sports medicine. I wanted to be on the sideline with the NBA and the NFL players. And I remember asking him, all my chores were done. I had done everything pertaining to the baby. Everything was done. And I had asked him, hey, Uncle such and such, a couple of friends of mine are gonna go to this game. It's at such and such. Somebody's coming to get me. Do you mind if I go to this game? I'll be home 8 o'clock-ish. And I just remember him getting very close to me. And he stood in front of me with the calmest voice. He had never been this calm before. And he said, with a smirk on his face, you're asking me to go somewhere. after school, after hours, when you come from a whole mother who's a whore and a father who's a vagabond. Like, how are you gonna ask me to let you out of this house after the sun goes down? When you are destined, because you come from a whore and a vagabond, please get out of my face. You may not leave this house. And he walks away. That was actually what did it. I gathered myself and I went to that room and I packed whatever little belongings I had, which I think fit in a book bag, and I went back to my grandmother's house. I got there, 25 years later, and this part of the story always triggers my allergies. But anyway, back to the story. Basically, accept an apology that was never given to me. Till this day, it's just never been talked about. And I'm not around him enough for us to be faced with each other, for him to feel any type of remorse. So, as a matter of fact, there was another family member that came from Haiti and went to visit him. And he still has a portrait that I happen to have been in when I lived with him. I think I might have been 16, on his wall. I guess he couldn't erase me out of it because he had it made into like a canvas, very pretty. The family member was like, "Is that such and such?" And he just went on and on about how just a horrible person I was, and just on the defense without even being like asked anything. He just went on about how of a messed up person I was. So I don't know if that was just guilt talking or if he still feel this way about me, because mind you, this man don't know me. The person that I am today, he doesn't know me. He knows what he thinks he knows of me from back when I was a child, but he doesn't know me as an adult. And so, yeah, so that is my experience with child abuse / discipline. I don't know where you guys draw the line, where y'all from, but I'm pretty sure if you're Haitian or if you're Jamaican or if you're anywhere from the Caribbean, you may have a similar story. I try my hardest to model my parenting after the opposite of what I went through. But sometimes you just can't help, like, you are a product of what you know, your environment. And so I find myself lashing out and saying things to my children, but I always go back and apologize when need to. I try to correct myself. Even in my relationships, I find myself I'm very guarded when it comes to men, especially men that consider themselves alpha. I don't like a man to yell at me. I don't like a man to be too stern with me, because I feel like it's going to be followed by a punch in my face, because that's what I'm used to. And so I am very protective of my face and my space. I will not allow somebody to put their hands on me. I'm just not going through that. And if it looks like you're going that way, I walk away. And so that is my experience with child abuse, because I'm going to call a spade a spade. That is my experience with harsh discipline, with just verbal abuse. And so I just wanted to share and just be vulnerable this particular video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any similar stories, please share. If you know anybody who's been through this, if you've been through it, please share and give me some tools on how to deal with this in my big age, because I'm still triggered and I'm still traumatized. So let me know how you guys are dealing with this, if you've ever dealt with it. If not, God bless you. Thank God for that, because I don't wish this on anybody. But yes, let us stop this story time here, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay.